he's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs on.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Moving the Chains here on Team NBS Media. I am Ashmere. Happy Christmas Eve if you are joining us on this early day. Thank you so much for being here. I have got a fantastic crew here. We've got Jeff and Steve to talk about all of the games for today and the games that happened yesterday. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Good morning.
Happy holidays, everybody out there.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, that little graphic was cute.
Thank the minions over at Team NBS for that.
So what are you guys doing today? Do you guys have big plans?
I will be right here, trying to get stuff ready. I'm actually going to be driving on Christmas Day. So I will be right here doing any last minute prep and hopefully not cleaning up after two pups.
Yeah.
That's always that fun and
a risky proposition. Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
Starting the morning kind of chill here, doing this, hoping to maybe get some football in, and then later tonight when it gets dark enough, I think we're going to take a tour of all the houses with all the nice lights around the neighborhoods.
Oh, cute. I have yet to do that, and I really want to. So.
Door dashing has helped me find a bunch of spots, so I've got a bunch of pre-pinged destinations. So we're gonna set a GPS to make a route.
Nice. You're an organized person.
Not really. Just sounds that way.
All right. Well, let's kick it off with yesterday's games. Should we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I speak for everybody in the football community when I talk about the Bengals score because I started that Bengals defense in my fantasy league, and that did not do me any service. So let's kick it off with that game. What in the world made the Steelers play such phenomenal offense? I mean, I don't know. Is it just the quarterback? Is that what changed everything? I'm so confused.
Mike Tomlin has a way of getting the most out of his locker room at the most important times, seemingly more often than not. So I think it's a credit to the leadership from the head coaching. I know that it's been kind of a struggle lately in some of the other coordinator positions and whatnot, but Mike Tomlin is still one of the premier head coaches in this league, no doubt about it. And whether or not their offense can continue this kind of production, they do have some of the pieces in place. I still think they need to figure out the quarterback position. But, if they can do this with Mason Rudolph, I'm sure they can manage to do that when they find a real quarterback.
Yeah, it's called not being afraid. Right? He said, scared money don't make money. Well, he played scared when he didn't have his starting quarterback, Kenny Pickett. They didn't challenge people down the field. They tried to be conservative with Mitch Trubisky. They tried to run the football and play tough defense. And what did they get you? A close first half and some tough losses at the end. So you had to go out there and actually play offense, challenge defenses down the field, make plays quickly before they can get to you with blitzes, run the football still play tough defense. And what do you get? A 34-11 blowout over a pretty tough opponent who's been winning games against some tough opponents themselves, the Cincinnati Bengals. So what they finally did was stop playing scared. We've seen enough times in this league this year when a starting quarterback is out for the season, they bring in a guy that's the backup or a guy off the street, and they get conservative. Run the football, don't make mistakes, play tough defense. It looks close, and then in the end, those games get away from you. What happened when San Diego tried that the first time they started Easton Stick? They got smoked. The coaching staff got fired because they did exactly that. Yesterday, not so much. They got creative on offense. They made plays. They were in that Buffalo game till the end. That is what you call coaching, not the stuff that we see consistently where people are just afraid to not lose.
Okay, so if you're at Kenny Pickett watching that game, you're obviously celebrating a win, but are you worried about your starting position there, or is this just a one-off, yay, go Pittsburgh game?
I don't know. I don't know if he. I don't know. Maybe he might feel a little pressure, but I think the starting job for now is still his. I know he's not been the greatest, but I think they've already kind of committed to him being their starting quarterback. So I think he's got a few more games, maybe a season of leeway. But yeah, it's not a long leash. There's definitely restriction.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'm Kenny Pickett, that means the handcuffs are off, right? We've been playing scared. Well, if you're going to throw it down the field with Mason Rudolph, you better be calling those same plays for me when I come back. So if that's the case, I'm feeling relieved that I don't have to be Mr. Check Down Charlie, protect the football. If this is how we're going to be, this is how we're going to win games, that's how I'm going to play from now on. And that should be the formula for the Steelers going forward. You saw a more efficient Najee Harris. Why? Because you're stretching the field back in the safeties off. You saw a more efficient Pickens. Why? Because they got the ball out quick, allowed him to catch and run with the football. And then eventually, because they sucked the defense up, he was able to get over the top. You're able to do a lot more when you utilize all of your players' skills and stop using certain skills to protect the football.
Yeah, I agree 1,000,000%. I think George Pickens was underutilized the entire season.
Absolutely.
And yesterday was like a a talent show of what he's capable of doing. So I was very surprised when I saw that game and that score. All right, so I don't really want to talk about the Saints because I just can't stand them. So let's do the Bills and Chargers game. I think this score was too close for comfort. If I am the Buffalo Bills and I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, you watch the Raiders put up 60 plus against this team, and then you are only within 2. So I'm not afraid of the Bills anymore as a playoff team. Not sure if you guys feel the same. Every week is a new week. I completely agree. But that's like the Chargers are with their backup QB. There's just so much uncertainty. They have a brand new, I think the head coach is the edge rushing coach, I said on the other show the other day. So I don't know. You guys let me know. How are you feeling if you are to face the Buffalo Bills in the next 2 weeks?
I feel great if I'm not the Dallas Cowboys because that's the only team they seem to play with a lot of fire, right? You watch them go out there against Dallas. You saw them run the ball, show commitment to running the football. They ran it down Dallas's throat to over 200 yards as a team. But then they come out this week, right? And then they start doing the same thing again, getting pass happy early, right? Not utilizing Cooks as much. And then all of a sudden, what do you have? A closer game than you need. This game could have been a lot worse had they come out and done what they need to do. Establish Cooks early, use Josh Allen, bake off of Cooks, then allow that offense to flourish. Gabe Davis made some great plays. But what did you do to get him open? You started running Cooks, and they started respecting the running game again, realizing, well, we can't let this guy beat us the way he beat Dallas. But yes, as far as your question about Pickens and Deontay, no, you don't have a clear one. You don't have a clear one in that situation until somebody becomes the consistent receiver. Neither one of them are consistent right now.
I'm pretty sure that if you're a Bills fan, you should be pretty close to hitting that panic button because they are just a shell of who and what they present on paper, what they should be or have been the last few years on the cusp of becoming. They've been ascending and now they're just roller coasting and they can show off one week and then they come out flat the next. They are not scary anymore. They're inconsistent at best. I kind of the other day yesterday likened it to they remind me of last year's Vikings team who just managed to keep winning these amazing one-score games, but really weren't giving any validatable credit because they were all one-score games and they were all too close to call and too close for comfort. The Bills this year are doing that. And I don't think that's a recipe for getting anywhere in the playoffs. It didn't work for the Vikings last year.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think if you're allowing a backup QB to have over 200 yards, your defense is slacking. That guy should have been shut down, Easton. I'm just saying. Okay, If you want to talk about the Saints, we could talk about the Saints, but I really don't want to talk about them just because I think it needs an entire rebrand. I think it just looks chaotic. Alvin Kamara was like barely utilized. It was just, I don't know. The Rams really obviously are fighting for something higher than the Saints are. So that game proved that.
It's exactly what we said it was, right? We were just talking about for weeks the inconsistency of the Saints offense. At times, they have no idea what the deep ball or any kind of vertical game looks like. And then the other times, all of a sudden, it comes out of nowhere. Well, that's this coaching staff. That's Dennis Allen. You're playing for your season, 3 games left. You still have a chance to win your division and go to the playoffs and host a playoff game. And they put out a game like that, where once again, they're getting blown out. And somehow they have to come back with garbage minutes points to kind of make it look respectable. This game was over if the Rams poured it on. They kind of let off the gas late. It looks respectable at the end. But the New Orleans Saints are what they are. They're allowing Tampa Bay to run away with this division. And it's a shame on the Saints for doing it. Okay? You have better players than what you're showing. You're not utilizing them to their strengths. And it's getting tiresome for fans to watch this week after week. I don't know what the Bensons are waiting for to make a move there. But if you're going to wait till the end of the season to do it, I would do it, and I would clean house. I wouldn't keep any of that staff. It's not worth it. Sean Payton's not there to make him look great anymore. Right? You got a guy who's ultra conservative. He's always been that way as a head coach, and it's not helping you at all this year. It's time for Carmichael to go because this offense just looks atrocious. I mean, I don't have anything nice to say about this team right now because they're not giving you anything on film to go, ooh, I still think this team could be great. They're not. If they squeeze into the playoffs, they're getting bumped right out. Okay, you have better talent at wide receiver, except for the guy that's been hurt 3-4 years in Michael Thomas. That's a guy that you shouldn't be paying. So there's a lot of problems in New Orleans. It starts with the coaching staff, and it has to trickle into that locker room for some guys that need to go.
So if you're the Saints entering the draft, are you picking up a QB or what? I think yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to pick up one that doesn't have to start. See, you got a guy that can start for you. I'm going to pick one that doesn't have to start. I can groom him and get him ready. So when I don't want to pay David Carr anymore, he's gone. I mean, Derek Carr anymore, he's gone. All right. And
that's how bad he's playing. You forgot his name.
Listen, I always confuse Derek and David.
They just played so similarly.
Yes.
Well, I'll give Derek a little more credit than David. But, but I'll tell you this much. He's a solid quarterback. He's been a solid quarterback. But unfortunately, you expected more out of Carr. And everybody goes, well, he was a top pick. He was not a top pick. Remember, this is a second-round quarterback, right? So Geno Smith was a second-round quarterback. While they were franchise quarterbacks in the beginning, they did play well. He played better than Geno did in New York, but he wasn't able to do everything that the Raiders needed. They moved on from him. Well, the Saints needed him to do more. But I think he's being held back, but like I said, by his coaching staff. I do not appreciate what I'm seeing game plan-wise week after week from the Saints. And it doesn't reflect the players that they have. They're playing like they have a bunch of old veterans that are on their last legs. Carr's not on his last legs. Kamara's not on his last legs. Olave is a young stud. There are plenty of guys in this offense. That's the only guy that needs to be put out the pasture is Michael Thomas. And it's not because of talent. It's because Michael Thomas is not available. When you have a player that's not available for 3 years in a row, it's time for you to cut bait.
Yep. It's not personal. It's business.
You get no production in the tub. That's the truth. That's what Parcells always said. You don't make the team from the tub. And he not making anything from the tub right now, but a lot of money.
I think we've clearly said enough on the Saints, and I agree with everything that's been said. So I'll flip to the other side.
Jeff feels very passionate about this team, and I love it because I talk a lot of smack about Derek Carr every day.
I'll flip to the other side. The Rams kind of had, they've got a better coach, Sean McVay. They've got a better quarterback in Stafford, and they clearly have two of the best wide receivers in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. So they have a better offensive going, and they still have Aaron Donald as part of a defense. So they have pieces still around from a Super Bowl team, and they're still trying to make a presence, and they're still trying to make a run themselves. So they have something to play for as much as New Orleans did. And clearly they just want it more than New Orleans does. And Sean McVay is not afraid to not be conservative. That's who Sean McVay is. That's how he constructs crazy offenses. And Dennis Allen clearly doesn't have any interest in creating offense at all. So That's kind of where that's at. And Alvin Kamara is handcuffed to that. As much as he is the playmaker, you can't make plays out of nothing. So you have to be given something to use to create with. And that's, I think, where the Saints are stuck. Is so I think they need a coaching regime change as much as some player renovation.
Yeah, I think the coaching is the first thing to go in the offseason. Okay, let's talk about games that have not occurred so that we can speculate as much as we'd like. Let's kick it off with the Jags and the Bucks. I believe, based off of the way Baker Mayfield is dominating right now offensively, him and Mike Evans are like a match made in heaven in the back half of this season. I think that's going to take over this Jaguars struggling defense. So how can the Bucks take away a win? I'm going to give it to Steve. So Jeff doesn't have the opportunity to repeat all the things he said in his show on Bucks Weekly if you've seen it.
All right. So, yes, Baker Mayfield is quite impressive right now, and he's clearly trying to make a case for showing off for him becoming a free agent this offseason. Whether or not he's making a case to want to stay in Tampa Bay or take his talent to any team that clearly needs a starting quarterback, because there are several of them, obviously, at this point of the year. And so maybe there's a team out there that wants a somewhat veteran quarterback over starting with a drafting quarterback, because that draft is such a crapshoot that almost never works when you draft a quarterback, especially when you need one. So I think Baker and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and that offense is definitely clicking, and there are still enough pieces and from the Super Bowl run on that defense. You've got Vita Vea and Antoine Winfield Jr. and White and linebacker. So you've got positions and talent on all three levels on defense. The Bucks are a team that actually presents a challenge coming forward here in this playoff stretch and potentially in the playoffs if Baker can keep playing at this high level. And if Baker keeps doing so, he might sneak into the MVP conversation.
Oh, okay. I like that. All right, Jeff, I'm giving you the other team.
Well, listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars put themselves in a very bad predicament right now. Mm-hmm. You're facing one of the hottest teams in the league right now in Tampa Bay. Okay, you're struggling. You've fallen into a three-way tie for your division. While you still hold many of the tiebreakers there, if you lose this game, tiebreakers don't matter if one of those teams in your division wins in Houston or Indianapolis. Okay, because now you're a game behind. So you're going to put yourself in a position to play catch-up if you lose this game. You have to win this game, just like the Bucks do. The Bucks have less incentive to win because even if they lose this game, they beat New Orleans next week. They're in the driver's seat to win the division. So right now you're in a situation, you're struggling. Your quarterback is dealing with multiple things. He just cleared concussion protocol, but he's still dealing with the ankle sprain that he's playing through. Okay, this offensive line hasn't played its best the last couple of weeks. You need to be able to protect your quarterback this week. You need to be able to run the football this week to get Travis Etienne going to protect your quarterback. You can't let him take any more beatings because, honestly, he's your season. You're not going to win this division with C.J. Beathard. You're not going to win the playoffs with C.J. Beathard. It's not happening. So you have to win and protect Trevor Lawrence, and you have to do it today. You can't come out next week and think you're going to put this back together. Even though you play a division opponent next week, you have to win and stay in that prime position right now. You can't fall out of it. Let the Bucks worry about that because they have leeway. You do not. Three-way tie between Indy and Houston is one of the better teams, even though without C.J. Stroud, they can still win games. They showed that last week. They almost pulled that win off. So Indianapolis, still be surprised if they pull that off. All right, so you got to be careful. If you're Jacksonville right now, you were in the driver's seat. You were the big dog in the division for most of the season, but you've fallen into a position now where you're now have your opponents right at your neck. You got to be able to finish strong. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. They started the season off so well, and you can see that they've just declined. And I think Trevor's health is a huge reason why. I think running the ball today is like the biggest pro they could rely on because we've got Travis Etienne, who's been amazing. And I think that'll save Trevor a lot of worry. especially if they're blitzing him, which I feel like the Buccaneers are 100% going to do, is blitz against Trevor because he's injured, right? You're just playing on people's strengths at that point. I mean, weaknesses. All right. That game, we will decide our winners at the end when we do the rapid fire. I think this is a very talked about game, which of course it has a lot of, playoff stake at hand here. We've got Cowboys in Miami. Cowboys are bad on the road. Cowboys have given up some really big games for themselves. It's a dog-eat-dog world right now for the Philly and the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm wondering, Miami's defense has been phenomenal all season. I think their turnover ratio is huge, and I believe they will force a pick six today. I'm just going to throw that out there. They have done one in at least half of the games this season. So that defense is one to watch out for. What can Dallas do to bring a win, into their record and just kind of take the lead? Because Philly's playing the Giants today, and they give that one up, then whatever, Philly should be out of the Super Bowl conversation. Right. So what are you guys thinking the Cowboys need to do to dominate?
You want to go first, Steve?
Okay, sure. I'll go first. All right. The Cowboys on the road needing to getting a win because they need every single win at this point to keep ahead and keep pace with the Eagles. This is going to be a tough one to be honest with you. In Miami, it's now later in the year, so it's not the usual hot Miami, but it's still a temperature difference. It's still a road game. Dallas has been on a roll lately, minus the Buffalo game. But I would say that Dak needs to continue being as phenomenal as he has been. CD needs to continue being CD. They need to keep their running game moving. And obviously they need to find a way with their defense to continue to get stops. And maybe a pick six themselves to keep pace with the Dolphins defense and in order to get a win out and on the road. But I think that's a tough sled this week on the road for Dallas, honestly.
Yeah, Dallas has the ability to win this ball game, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk about how Dallas, they don't beat teams with winning records. Well, same thing can be said about that team of Miami that's 0-4 versus teams with winning records, right? So these two teams are both speed teams, okay? The difference is Miami has a little more power on offense than Dallas does. That's where the question comes into play. Can Dallas stop this Miami running game? Right now, Dallas is hard stretched to beat certain teams on the ground. The reason why is because when you have the ability to do more on the ground, when you have the ability to have a running back who's slashing, who can make you commit to a hole and then bounce out of it, that's where they struggle. You saw that with James Conner when they lost to Arizona. You saw that when they lost to Philadelphia, when DeAndre Swift came alive in the second half of that game. You saw it with Buffalo, where Cooks ran all over them. Okay? That has been the problem for these Dallas Cowboys. But what do you face in Miami? Raheem Mostert is not that guy. He's a one-cut runner. He's going to play it and go. Devin Achane is that guy. And that's what you got to worry about it. Will they struggle stopping Achane? They may not struggle with a Mostert as much, but they definitely will have their issues with Achane. If they can go out there and get a lead early on Miami and kind of minimize that running game a little, that'll be the best recipe for Dallas to come out with a win.
Okay, let's flip it here and talk about the Dolphins. A home win, this would be a really big win for them.
Okay,
and
well,
go ahead.
It starts with the cheetah, right? How healthy is the cheetah? Because with the cheetah, that creates problems for Dallas as far as matching up. They love to play a lot of man. Do you want to put Gilmore, who's not as fast as the cheetah, on him? Or do you want to put Bland, who has some speed, but he's still not as fast as the cheetah, and let him match up? That's the question. Somebody's got to match up with the cheetah. Somebody's got to match up with Waddle. Right? And then you still have other matchups out there, but those are the main two matchups. Which corner is going to, if you're going to follow or you're going to let them stay on each side? Then What do you do with the running game if you're right? So that's what it starts with the cheetah. If he's fully healthy, well, he's not going to be fully healthy, but if he's effective enough that he creates big plays and opens things up, it'll open things up for this Miami team. The other factor is Dallas is without Tyron Smith, but also we're without Jalen Phillips. Okay, so if you're Miami, you're missing your best pass rusher, they're missing their best pass protector. Which of those breaks first? If Miami's able to pressure Prescott a lot, like teams have been doing when they won against Dallas, as you saw at Buffalo, created a lot of pressure, made Prescott uncomfortable. The receivers couldn't get open because the pressure was getting there fast. All right, that's a problem. But if you don't have your best pass rusher, who's going to be that guy versus a Dallas front that's now undermanned because they're playing with a guard playing left tackle? So if that's the case, who's going to be the guy that takes advantage of Udoka? Dallas likes to just man up on the front. They don't like to slide. They don't like that extra protection. They like to stick to their game plan. Right. So if that's the case, who's going to take advantage of Udoka? If you can't do that, Dallas will have their way on offense.
Steve?
Yeah, Miami, it's all about their speed. And as much as I am concerned about Tyreek Hill, he was, I believe, almost a game-time decision last week that they held out. I think that was a little bit more shadow gamesmanship than anything. But he was on the field practicing and warming up prior to that game and having an entire week still to work on it. I think he may not be 100%, but I'm sure he'll be healthy enough to be on the field and at least be somewhat of a decoy and effective, still being the cheetah. And you still have Waddle on the other side, who is just as dangerous, in my opinion, almost maybe more dangerous, especially when you have to cover the cheetah on the other side, even if he isn't fully the cheetah. Mm-hmm. And then you still have the running game of Mostert and Achane. So it's a dual-headed monster at both of the skill positions that they can attack you with, and it's going to be interesting. I do believe, does Mostert still lead the league in rushing touchdowns, I believe, also? So, I mean, there's that, too. I just don't know how the Dallas Cowboys can stop the offense in Miami, especially in Miami, because I think they put up more points at home than on the road.
Yeah. They like to put on a show, that's for sure. I feel like if Tua starts off with 2 touchdowns, it's a wrap for the boys. And that is a very plausible case.
The funny part will be the crowd, right? Normally the home crowd's allowed, they interfere with the offenses. You have the Dallas Cowboys who have a fan base that's everywhere.
They're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
They could take your home stadium and make it a 50-50 proposition. If Miami's crowd is not there in force and there's a lot of Cowboy fans there, both offenses are going to be affected by that.
100%. Okay, this feels like a trick game, I think, a trap game, as they say, because Joe Flacco's back. I don't know what that means in the league, but he has been dogging, as he should. He is a Super Bowl winner. And the Texans don't have our favorite guy, CJ Stroud. So winning this for the Texans would really help, obviously, their playoff contention. But I think just showing that they're still that team without CJ, I feel like even though they don't have a lot to, like, this year was a whole kickoff year, right? A brand new coach, brand new quarterback. Everything was like a revamp. So what they've done already is huge. So I want you guys to tell me how the Texans can win, because the Browns have not been that same defense that have been cooking offenses as they were in the beginning. So I think they have a chance, but without CJ, it's definitely tougher. So Steve, why don't you kick it off?
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be really tough because I think they're also hurting on the wide receiver position in a few places too. So I think it's really going to be hard for them to keep up because the Browns have found Joe Flacco and have been clicking on offense since they've done so. I think tight end Njoku might have the most receiving touchdowns over the last few weeks. He's been on fire, so it's going to be needing to stop him. And I don't know that the Texans are going to be able to keep up offensively because I don't think they have the pieces right now due to injury to do so. And they have had a great year. I think they've exceeded expectations. So I don't think there's anything to say bad about Texas if they do lose this game, or even if they do win. So they've had a great year. Caps off to them. All nothing but flowers and respect.
All right, Jeff, you get to talk about the Browns.
Well, this Browns organization has been known to revive older quarterbacks, right? You think about in the 90s, there was a cast off from Tampa Bay who was their first round quarterback named Vinny Testaverde. Everybody thought his career was over. Comes to Cleveland, revives it, leads them to the playoffs. Well, same thing is now happening with Joe Flacco. Everybody thought his career was over. He was on the couch at the beginning of the season, ended up on a practice squad. All of a sudden now, here he is leading the Browns on the playoff push. Okay, so they kind of have a little bit of a track record in reviving veteran quarterbacks. Now, in order for them to win this game, you need to take advantage of the fact that that team is down. You can't go in there feeling sorry for them. Okay, don't give them any chances to hang around like we saw Buffalo did yesterday, right? You know, they're down their quarterback. They're down their number one receiver. He's gone for the year in Tank Dell, all right? So if that's the case, bury him early. Go in there, finish the job early, take this game away from them early. Don't let them back into it, and you got to win. You're now remaining in playoff position. But if you turn around and let these guys hang around and they steal this victory from you, you may feel this 2 weeks from now in the final week of the season when you're fighting for that wild card spot, and this Texans team may be taking it from you if they're not leading their division. So you have to go out there where you're in a position where you're fighting for a playoff spot, and you're going into a game versus a team that's in a similar position fighting for one as well. You got to bury them and bury them early. Do not let them hang around because both of you are playing for the same thing.
Yeah, I think this has a very obvious ending. It's going to be a tale of two halves, though. I believe Texans can really put up and show out in the first half, but the Browns have a little more at stake here, and Joe Flacco's been dominating that offense. I don't even know. I love his story. I think this whole comeback of being the couch QB to the leading QB is pretty awesome. Okay,
the old blue hen won't die.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's most excited game for Christmas Day. I know Niner fans are hyped. It's going to be psychotic here in the Bay Area for this game. I wish I was going. So Niners are literally unstoppable. I think the defense is just clicking. The Chase Young edition has been a beautiful addition. Nick Bosa's just eaten up QBs defensively. The entire defense has been, you can't get a ball down the field without an attempt of an interception, right? They're always making you worry if it was a good pass or not. Lamar, fantastic. MVP consideration, of course. So I want Steve to tell me, how can the Ravens steal a win in the Bay?
Well, the Ravens can steal a win in the Bay, mostly by their defense and Roquan Smith and everyone making plays themselves and keeping Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and the Deebo Samuel and the CMC show from taking off and getting going. I think if you limit that from being the highlight reel that it can be, you've got an opportunity to let Lamar and your offense make some plays. You've got Rashad Bateman and Odell. I'm not sure if Zay Flowers is going to be able to go or not, but it's going to be a struggle because the Ravens can't seem to keep a running back healthy. So that's always an issue, but they are looking good and likely is looking great as a fill-in for Mark Andrews since he got hurt. They have not missed a beat in that aspect. So this is the matchup of the two best teams in the AFC and NFC, and it's going to be a great time. And I actually am rooting for the away team to actually pull off the upset in this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jeff, you get the Super Bowl possible team.
Well, to me, both of these guys are Super Bowl possible teams.
Right.
Right. But when you talk about it, both of these teams are excellent running the football. It opens up their offense. Okay, so if it's the case, I have to establish that early. If I can go out there and start pounding the ball and taking leads and stretching the clock out and scoring 7 while the other guy's scoring 3, then I can extend this game in a way I want it to and control the flow. If I allow this to go back and forth, right, with running game for running game, field goal, touchdown to touchdown, this is going to be the game that I don't want. The best thing I can do is I'm hosting this game. Okay, I do not want Lamar and them coming in here scoring touchdowns with me. I want to score the touchdowns early, like you did to Dallas, like you did to Philadelphia. Go out there, score early, control the game with your offense, make them play with you.
Yeah, I think this is a good test if these two do end up in the Super Bowl to see what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are. I know I don't know. It's going to be, without Zay, I think it's a difficult win for the Ravens because Lamar can't run the ball the entire time. But I think running the ball against the Niners is a key to success. So it's hard to just figure that out, right?
That's where you need Beckham to step up. That's where you need Isaiah Likely to step up.
Right.
Okay, you need all of those guys to step up because especially Aguilar, they got Nelson Aguilar, don't they? Right. So they got all these guys that they brought in, these veteran guys that fill those roles. Well, you don't have Zay Flowers, who's that explosive guy that makes matchup problems in the slot. You got to have those guys that you brought in come and make plays. Listen, it sucks that you don't have Mark Andrews, but you want to know what? You got two good running backs that are making plays for you out of the backfield as well. Get them involved. Find a way to bridge the gap without Zay Flowers.
I think it also will speak volumes if the Ravens can get a touchdown early and sort of quiet the crowd as well and calm the storm before it gets going. That also would be another thing that will be helpful in being a key factor in changing the swing and momentum back and forth.
Okay, I have a question. In the coin toss, if you're an opposing team going into the home stadium, are you keeping the ball the first half? Like, let's say you win. I think that's a good strategy in this game. I think it's good to start with the ball. If you give it to them to start the second half, sure, so be it. But you have that first opportunity to score, just like Steve said. So I wanted to know what you guys think of that.
As a coach, I always like to play it by ear. All right. So I look at the matchup. I look at the situation we're going to. If it's a really good team like this in San Francisco, they have a loud crowd. They don't have the loudest crowd. It's not the Dome. It's not Lambeau Field. It's not any of those crowds. Levi Stadium can be loud, but there will be some fans from visiting teams there as well. So what I want to do is, if I feel that their offense is just too hot right now, give me the ball first. But if I'm confident my defense can go out there and get a stop or a field goal on the first drive, I will give them the ball first because then I want the chance to double up at halftime. Yeah. I want to score before the half, and I want to score coming out the half to either extend the lead or take the lead or cut into their lead. Right? This way, I control either the beginning of the game and the halftime, or I come out and establish myself early. If it's a game that I feel I need to come out and establish myself early, give me the ball first.
Exactly.
So in this case, you obviously know that the defense can stop you, or you might not be able to stop that offense. Are you going to start with the ball?
See, that's the question. It really depends on how confident they are in stopping San Francisco. If they believe it's going to be a shootout, give me the ball first, because I do not want to go out there, give them the ball. San Francisco goes right down the field and scores. Then I come out and have a 3-and-out. Now I'm at the risk of falling down 2 scores immediately, which is the worst case scenario. So if that's the case, it's maybe best in Baltimore's best interest to go get the ball first, try and make something happen, try and establish a tempo, as opposed to giving to San Francisco, risking them doing what they do right down the field and putting you in a hole early. That's been the thriving part of San Francisco this whole time. Like I said, that's how they beat Dallas. That's how they beat Philadelphia. All right, that's how they beat some of the better teams that they face. They come out, they hit you in the mouth early, they keep hitting you in the mouth, and you can't get up.
Yeah, I as much as I do like that working the double dip at halftime, which is an effective strategy, I think especially when it's two offenses that can go at it the way that these two can, even with two defenses that are as good as both of these have, I think it is a case of, to quote Lil Wayne, I don't bust back because I shoot first. I think that's the game we need to play here.
I don't think we had a Lil Wayne reference in this whole show, so that was beautiful.
Never will be for me.
Okay, we're gonna do a little Christmas fun and let Jeff talk about his naughty list for the NFL. Last night when I was sending over things, I think I just started going on a rampage because there's a lot of things I need to change in the NFL for next season. So Jeff, kick it off and then we'll let Steve join in.
Well, if we're going to talk naughty, right, you got to bring in a naughty character. So we're talking naughty. Well, how naughty can you get if you're not going to go Hollywood, right? So we're going to go Hollywood for my version of the naughty list, and we're going to go full on out here. All right, so plain and simple, it's naughty list time. We're going Hollywood, and I'm going to talk about the naughty people in the NFL that I believe are naughty. So let's go at it. Here we go.
The 24-inch gun's coming out.
Right? Brother, we're talking Hollywood, brother. We're talking naughty. Well, it doesn't get much naughtier than those darn Raiders. Right? Mark Davis. How could you hire a guy that you knew you were going to fire before the mid-season anyway?
Right.
They told you not to hire him. Everybody said don't hire him. You hired him anyway. You fired him mid-season. Nobody in the locker room liked him. What a mistake that was. You just set yourself back 3 more years like you needed that in the first place. Mark Davis, there's nothing naughtier than that. You don't even get gold, brother. You get nothing at all. All right? So we're talking naughty, right? And I was getting on a team earlier because I said this is naughty. And you're darn right it's naughty. How it doesn't get much dirtier than it does down in the bayou. Right, that's right. I'm talking about Dennis Allen and them Saints, brother. Right, we're talking about naughty. How about you just don't utilize what you have? This is naughty. Okay, you got you lose Kamara for a couple of games, suspension. He comes back. He's been ineffective most of the season. You got this young stud in Chris Olave who relegated the hooks, slants, and hitches. Okay, this is the best deep threat one of the best deep threats in the league, brother. Young deep threat. He doesn't even get the ball past 20 yards. This is what I'm talking about, a guy who went out there, who's lining himself up to get fired one more time because plain and simple, he's just plain naughty when it comes to being a head coach. A heck of a DC, but when it comes to being a head coach, he loves going down the firing line. There's nothing naughtier than that, brother. But you know what? In my last naughty list, all right, I'm not even going to use a graphic for these guys because they don't deserve it. I'm wearing NWO black and white, but there are brothers out there wearing white and black every week, getting paid 6 figures and blowing it every week. I'm talking about you officials. That's right, you are naughty. Every week I turn on a game. Every week I watch you guys blow games because plain and simple, you guys make a lot of money and you blow it every week. I'm tired of it. The fans are tired of it. The owners are tired of it. Well, they're not because they keep paying you. Plain and simple, fellas. You're naughty. I watch you guys. And guess what? Because you're naughty, you know what your reward is? Nothing's going to happen to you. You're still going to keep working because that's what happens when you're too naughty. And for the NFL, just like the NWO was too naughty for wrestling, brother. We couldn't get fired to save our lives, and neither could you refs. So I'm right there. That's naughty.
I think this was the best segment we've ever had. Okay, the cost,
so good.
the
So
outfit
good.
change, the graphics, the explanations, and I love that you ended it with the refs because they have been blowing games, especially
100%.
this season. It feels highly. The stats are high.
It would not have been a naughty list if you did not have the refs on them.
Yeah.
That they have been absolutely the worst possible thing to watch or be a part of the NFL experience this season. The refereeing has been awful to atrocious, and those are the good adjectives to describe it. Yeah, moving on from that. What else has been on the naughty list? Well, how about let's stay in the South? How about the Atlanta Falcons and the coaching or lack thereof of Arthur Smith and the inability to create any kind of offense for Kyle Pitts or Drake London or anything kind of support to their young quarterback to make them have any reason to believe in their fan base that they have a team worth watching? Who else makes the naughty list? How about those San Diego Chargers who finally did something right and fired their coach who was going for it on 4th and whatever on their own side of the 50-yard line whenever he wanted to? That's great defensive coaching. Wait, isn't he a defensive coach? Oh, that's right. Yeah, he has no clue what he's doing. He's gone. And San Diego is in a free fall because of having hired him. San Diego is in a complete heap of trouble. And they are also making my naughty list. Who else needs to make the naughty list? How about let's move to my own home division, the NFC North. I think the Packers and the Bears are actually closer to the naughty list and heading in that direction than people realize. Well, the Bears have kind of already been there and haven't made it back out yet, and they're still kind of in that pit. I believe they're dragging the Packers in with them. The Packers can't seem to figure it out. Jordan Love is kind of starting to show signs that he might actually be a starting quarterback, but is he a transitional franchise quarterback? Doubtful. The Packers don't know what they're doing. They're also on my list of naughties. That's my naughty list.
You know what? That was just as good because those 3 teams, there's a lot of teams that are doing bad, but I think the 6 that we've listed, or I'm not counting the refs, sorry, the 5, top 5 problems of the NFL. All right, before we wrap things up, we love to do our rapid fire segment. I'm going to go through all the games and we're going to predict our winners. And just so we know, we have our own unanimous curse, but we've been doing better since teams actually have more at stake now. So I think last week, the unanimous choices we made came through. So we've got a game that probably no one is watching, the Commanders and the Jets, to start it off.
Oh, someone has to win this game. Wow. And no one has anything to play for either, but
Right.
I don't know. I guess there was some kind of something scrappy, I guess, in Zach Wilson the other week getting that win there. Maybe they're going to find something to hang their hat on and finish the season strong. Sure looks like Rivera's on his way out in Washington, another team that might be almost worthy of the naughty list. Boy.
I'm going to pick the Jets because they're at home.
Okay. That's my decision there.
I'm not going to watch it.
I'm going to go with the home team because it's the home team.
When the score rolls in, I'm going to say nice game, but I'm not watching that.
Yeah. I'll not be tuning in. I will be missing that one accidentally.
Wow, will I be lone wolfing on Washington in this one?
Nice. Wow, Joe.
Yeah, here it goes.
I didn't pick them yet. Listen, you have one team that can't stop anybody in Washington. They traded away their best pass rushers. Right? Then you have the other team who's inconsistent at moving the football. So who do I trust more? I don't trust either one of these teams right now. So I don't feel bad at cursing the Jets and going all in on the Jets. And I really wouldn't feel bad about lone wolfing on it other than the fact that I may get my butt kicked on the lone wolf by picking the Commanders because they may go out there and blow it for me. So my option is I go with the curse. I'm going to go all in because at least if I lose, we all lose as opposed to just me. So therefore.
All right, next up we've got Lions and Vikings. Steve.
All right, this one's a little closer to my heart. This is going to be a tough game. It's at home for Minnesota, so I think that it has a little bit of advantage. It's also the second time around of Minnesota doing this whiteout theme game. Last year, we won a dramatic fashion walk-off, I believe Minnesota's career-long field goal walk-off with the whiteout game against the New York Giants. I believe, this might end up being a similar situation in that we might see a walk-off field goal win it, and I'm still going to root for my home team to do so. So I'm going to take the Vikings in a close one at home.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree on this one. I
Me
think
too.
Detroit's desperate because of the recent losses. They need to wrap up the division. It starts by beating you guys today. If they do that and they go into the Green Bay matchup, they
haven't won in Minnesota in 6 years.
Yeah.
So
the odds are not in their favor, but this year feels like a different. Yeah.
Sometimes a caged animal is more dangerous than when it's running around in the wild.
And that's also the other side. Is this truly a different Detroit team, or is this just the same old Detroit Lions? And when do we see the old Detroit Lions show back up? And this might be the beginning of that week.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, they've shown up enough because they've lost certain games they shouldn't have lost the last few weeks.
And then they play Dallas next week and then play us again.
Yeah. So they got to win this one, so the second one doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Beat you guys this week. They beat Detroit. They can take the last week off and get ready for playoffs. So they're definitely not getting home field advantage.
This is that's not even Detroit more than it is for us. So they have more pressure than we do.
And you guys are still in a scenario
on the road with the pressure.
Yeah. And both of these teams are right now sitting in the bracket. So look at if they win, they may be hosting you guys. So this is a scenario where Minnesota really needs this.
Play each other three times in a 4-week period.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening this week, though. I think they need it. They'll take it. And you might as well get them in the rebound in 2 weeks. But they desperately need this one. So that last matchup doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
All right, next we've got the Browns and the Texans.
This is another battle matchup. This is going to be a tough. Both teams need this win. They're both in the playoff hunt in their division and in the AFC. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to side with the team that's dealing with less injury at the most important positions at the most important time of the year. And Flacco has come in and righted the ship for Cleveland, and they're looking like a team on the rise at the right time. I'm going to go with Cleveland.
I'm going to go Cleveland as well. I think right now
we're unanimous.
Oh no, there it is.
I
they're just playing too well.
They need this win, and I think we talked about it earlier. Like they're looking much better than the Texans are. All right, another game probably no one's watching: Packers and Panthers. Well, Packers watching.
Go Panthers! Just kidding. Is it in Carolina?
Yes.
Ooh. Wow, sneaky Carolina gets its third win of the year against the Packers, who are not able to figure it out. Oh, I would love that headline. I unfortunately am going to side with the Packers. Jordan Love is an actual quarterback. The jury is still out on what Carolina is doing with anything. I do still like Adam Thielen. He's a hometown hero. But yeah, I got to go Packers.
Yeah, same. Jeff.
I guess we're going all in on them because that's who I was picking.
Again, I will be accidentally missing watching this one.
I think you're not alone on that. All right, next we got Seahawks and Titans. I think based off of what we've been seeing from Seattle, we had that big Drew Lock domination game on Monday night. I think Seattle is going to take this one.
Is Geno still hurt, or are they going?
He's playing.
Well, I think I'm going to go with Seattle. I think, they're just a little bit better than Tennessee.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, Drew Lock, different name, same quarterback, same production. I'm going to go with Seattle. I think Tennessee's going to make it tough. They've been playing tough recent weeks. We're seeing a much improved play from the quarterback position in Tennessee by the young rookie. But
been eliminated, right? So they don't have any.
They don't have anything to play for. They're a spoiler, but they've got jobs to play for. People forget that part. You still got to keep your job next year. You want to do that, you got to finish this season strong. So they're going to play spoiler, but they won't spoil Seattle. Seattle needs it. They've been hanging around. You saw it, how desperately they needed it by beating Philadelphia. They'll ride that wave into a win today.
All right, unanimous again. Colts and Falcons in Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Ooh, see, that could be interesting. Are they? Or is it Heineke, or is they? Who are they starting in Atlanta?
Yeah, I think yes.
I kind of actually like Heineke in Atlanta. Ooh. against the Garner Minshew show. I'm gonna say the Colts because they actually have a chance of being in the playoffs. I don't think Atlanta has any reason to try to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm going to do the Colts as well, even though I don't think anything is going to come from their win.
Yeah, no, this is another game that is just going to happen.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're going to get to the more fun games.
Well, we're spreading the curse out around because I'm going all in on Indy here. And the only reason is because Atlanta is inconsistent at the quarterback position right now. You're not sure what they expect. This is a team that's still fighting for their division. It doesn't look like
unanimously intelligent or unanimously unintelligent.
It doesn't look like it when you watch Atlanta week to week because one week they look like they're fighting for the division, next week they're fighting for a high draft pick. So this is the week where you hope that they turn it around. I just think that Indianapolis knows that they're fighting for their playoff lives. They're going to bring out their best.
All right, Cardinals and Bears.
Ooh. A battle of draft position. Ooh.
Yes.
Well, Kyler Murray's back. He's playing. And Jordan Love is back and he's playing. So it'll be the running around quarterback.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Sorry. I'm gonna go with the Bears. They've been playing really inspired football lately.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the Bears too.
Ooh. Well, we're going to get our first lone wolf here because I'm going with Arizona.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm sorry. I love Justin Fields. I love the fact that he's playing well. I, unfortunately, do not love the coaching staff in Chicago. Here's a team,
absolutely.
Here's a coaching staff that loves giving, and it is Christmas time, and they've been giving all season long. So I'm going to go with the team. If there was a naughty list, trust me, they should have made my naughty list too, but I didn't have overly high expectations for Chicago. So I will say this, Justin Fields is going to have a good game. They may even be leading in this game, but they're going to give back just like they did last week when, of course, this defense blows it again versus Arizona.
All right, Jags
and Bucks. It's the Eberflus experiment that has expired.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Good Jags coordinator, bad head coach. So Cleveland and he said, sorry?
The Jaguars and the Bucks, your team.
The Jags and Bucks. Okay. All right. I thought you said Cleveland. Was like, what did Cleveland? Well, battered and bruised Jacksonville versus a hot Tampa Bay team in Tampa. Well, if you saw my clip with Buckified Burt, he's telling you they're running the table going to the playoffs. Well, I had this game circled out of the 4 games saying this is the biggest chance for the Bucs to lose. If Jacksonville is this battered and bruised, you might just have to go with the Bucs in this situation like I am right now.
Yeah, I also am going to agree with the injuries taking a toll, especially when they're at a key position like your quarterback. Even if he is still playing through it, that means he's playing not 100%. He's playing hampered. He's playing injured. He's playing on a one bad ankle, so he's not his full self and not giving his full ability and concentration to at the most key position and most important time. So. I'm gonna have to go with the Bucs, who are playing their best.
Are
football.
Unanimous because I'm picking the Bucs as well, just because Mike Evans is gonna eat offensively. All right, next we've got Patriots and Broncos, which is the night game. I don't know who determined that.
They didn't flex
the most unwatched night game. Yeah.
Well, I guess because you got the primetime game tomorrow that everybody's gonna watch.
Yeah.
Might as well fill the slot with something, right?
Jags and Bucks would have been a cool night game. Anyways.
It would have been a nice one to flex. It would have been.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as good. It would have been as good if it was CJ Beathard starting in that game, which is probably why they didn't flex.
Yeah, very true.
So, listen, New England, Denver. New England's still fighting, but Denver's the better team. I'm going Denver.
Yeah.
The New England reign is over, and so is the Bill Belichick era, and frankly, so is his coaching tree. It's Denver.
Beautiful. We're all unanimous again. All right, tomorrow we've got Raiders and Chiefs. I think we will probably be unanimous on the Chiefs, right?
I am going to go Chiefs.
Yeah. They're in
I'm
Kansas City. Raiders are crazy. They have a terrible coaching
The
staff.
Raiders are playing tough. This is not going to be a pretty game.
They are playing tough. It will not be a blowout as much as I think we want to see the Chiefs get on a roller coaster game. I don't think this will be it.
I would love a nice little couple interceptions in the first half, shake up Patrick Mahomes. You know, he goes in the locker room all pissed off. That's what I'm looking for. All right, then we've got the Giants and the Eagles.
Ooh, wow. Ooh, the super wrench of the monkey upset. Ooh, that's so tempting.
No way, you can't pick the Giants.
I mean, with the way this season's been, every single week there has been at least 2 crazy games that should not have gone the way they've gone, have gone the way they've gone. So almost based on that, you have to find somewhere in here to throw those in. And Philly has not looked great in the last couple of weeks. So I kind of want to jump on this DeVito train. I don't know, Paisan. I don't know, the Cutlets. Yeah, you know what? Maybe Saquon can have a big game.
Okay, you're picking the Giants. There's no problem in it. You got to just go with your gut.
Give me the Giants.
Are you waiting on me, Ashmere?
I'm gonna lone wolf.
I'm eagling. I'm going fly Eagles fly. I think that's
you're gonna fly Eagles fly.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm gonna tell you what, and I'm a New Yorker, so I'm going full New York accent on this one. All right. So here we got Cutlets here. He's coming out. He's hot. He's about a bang, about a boom. A little fiery guy here. But I tell you what. Them damn Eagles are a tough team. We always play them tough. They give us a tough time. The cheesesteaks are amazing. Can't stand the birds, but I love the cheesesteaks. But I tell you what, listen, this guy here is special right now. He's playing. He's got it going. Right? You can't go against the guy. His agent looks like the guy from A Bronx Tale. But I tell you what, the Eagles may get the best of us in Philly, but when we go there, they come to us in the Meadowlands in 2 weeks. We're going to get them. So give me the Eagles right now, but this may change in 2 weeks when Cutlets gets them in the swamp.
Okay. And to wrap it up, of course, the Christmas night game, Ravens and Niners. Also, that was fantastic.
Oh boy, this Ravens-Niners game. Yeah, I'm just gonna check here. I am again. Yeah, that's right. So the 49ers are the home team. They are the favorite. They are the number 1 team in the NFC and probably the overall favorite in the entire NFL right now, currently putting the Ravens at number 2 as they're the number 1 AFC team. And I actually feel like the way that Lamar has the ability to run around and escape the defenses the way he did last week. I mean, they had guys wrapping on his jersey, pulling it off of him, and he still threw a touchdown. I think Lamar is going to find a way to steal this game from San Francisco on the strength of Lamar. So I am taking the underdog team again and road team, the Ravens, back-to-back underdogs. Lone Wolf, give it to me.
Are you picking the Niners, Jeff?
Am I picking the Niners? Well, do me a favor. Throw that matchup graphic up for me.
All right. If I can find it. Oh, here we go.
All right. On the bottom of that matchup, it says it right there. 1-2 versus the AFC North. They lost to Cleveland. They lost to Cincinnati. They pulled one out. Well, they blew out Pittsburgh because we know Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. But if you look at the matchups they lost to this division, they are physical teams that match the Niners' physicality. That's the Baltimore Ravens. Give me Baltimore in this matchup in the upset. I think they're going to be just as physical as the Niners, and in the end, they pull it out. It won't be a blowout. This is going to be a game that's going to go back and forth. You're going to see body blow for body blow. It's going to be that physical matchup on the line of scrimmage, both defensive lines and defenses. I hope the Ravens defense packs their lunch because they got a lot of work head out for them. But I think the Ravens pull it out late in the game.
Yep.
I can't believe I'm lone wolfing on this game. I think that's absurd. But here I am picking the Niners all by myself. So I think that makes tomorrow even more exciting to watch because I would love for you guys to prove me wrong.
That's the Green Day song, right? Cue the Green Day song. I was all by myself.
Okay, well, this has been a very fun hour. I love talking football in the morning. I know I was a little tardy, but it'd be like that. Yeah.
I don't think we picked the Dallas matchup, the Dallas-Miami matchup.
Oh,
yeah.
you're right.
Oh,
I totally
uh-oh.
sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Pick that one.
All right. Now, the other top two.
Yeah, I was gonna
records
say this
in
one's
the
a hard
NFL
one.
facing off. Dallas and the Dolphins. Let's go here in Miami. Achane is playing and healthy. Man, his speed is something else. And combine that with the Waddle and Cheetah speed experience. I think Tua has too many weapons, and the Dolphins and the home team come away victorious.
Yeah, listen, Dallas struggled to stop Buffalo's running game. They're going to have the issues with Miami. It won't be as bad as the Buffalo game. It won't be as overwhelming as we saw versus the Buffalo defense. I think what you're going to look at is two different things. You're going to look at two offenses get on track today. I think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal. I'm going to trust the kicker that hasn't missed, and that's the kid in Dallas to win the game. Dallas takes it by 3.
Okay, you're lone wolfing, Steve, because I'm picking the boys as well. I think they're gonna really step up what they've been doing the last couple weeks. So
Fantastic.
okay, now I'm going to close because I totally missed that game. Sorry about that. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a good time with their families and enjoy watching some good football. Thank you for joining us here on Team NBS Media. Be sure to like and subscribe and share and follow all of our social platforms. And we will see you guys way more because of the playoffs that are about to happen. So thanks for tuning in.